Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Do you have another?
Next bill is Senate Bill 1347, Madam Chair.
Certainly, which is file item 13, colleagues. File item 13. Senator Nielsen, please feel free to proceed.
This bill seeks to address one of the many issues with the state responsibility area fire prevention fee. This bill seeks to increase the oversight and the efficiency of the SRA fee by capping the amount that can be used for administration. We all want to see that fees are used for the purposes intended. The purpose of this fee was for prevention. In the early stages, and I remember the committee hearing when I asked Ledge Counsel to come up and to testify if the monies of that fee, and this was into the first year, were being used per the intent of the bill. Ledge Counsel came up with a sheath of papers and testified, no, it was not being used for the purpose intended by the bill. And in the subsequent years, in response to many questions in the Budget Committee, I argue it's still not convincing that it is being used as it should be. I would say that the CAL FIRE has improved, but I think it's unreasonable to say 20% or exceeding 20% is reasonable. This bill seeks to cap the administrative expenditures at 5%. Agencies should not be able to use these fees to pump and sustain their administrative costs. This particular, and I'm calling it a tax, not a fee, that is under litigation now, but it should not be used to prop the administration. The money should be used and directed to prevention. And the oversight is absolutely important. So it is reported to the legislature how that money is being expended, particularly so that we can be assured that those who pay the fee are benefiting from the fee, as Prop 126 requires. This bill also extends the deadline of reporting to the legislature, because that reporting requirement is due to expire next year. Now, frankly, that makes no sense to me, particularly in that the Senate now, and I so appreciate that resolve of the Senate to be preoccupied with oversight. We ought not abdicate that oversight authority, particularly under the statute that was passed and a very onerous fee on an awful lot of Californians who live in state responsibility areas. The report that requires to evaluate the benefits received by the counties in the state responsibility areas that are participants in the state responsibility areas, the effectiveness of those grant programs, and that is also key because so many billions of dollars are spent by agencies that don't have any accountability at all. The number of defensible space inspections, and that's really critical because that's really what this is about. The defensible space. Are we doing our job to ensure the prevention? And the degree of compliance with those dispensable space inspections, in other words, after they have found that they are complying or not, what happens to bring them into compliance, and the measures taken to achieve that compliance. So that is the very simple purpose, Madam Chair and members, of this bill. We have Paul Smith of the Regional Council of Rural Counties to testify, and I don't know whether David Wolf of Howard Jarvis is here or not.
Very good. Thank you. 3 minutes, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Paul Smith, Rural Counties Association, RCRC. We are in support of the bill. We have long opposed the imposition of the SRA fee for a variety of reasons. I won't go into them, but short of repeal and replace, we believe this is a good bill in its attempt to deal with the SRA, particularly as it opposes the 5% cap on the administration. When we first saw 29X go into law, we immediately let the legislature and finance know just how expensive this endeavor would be, notwithstanding some of the other policy issues. Upwards of 20+% to administrate in the early years of this program. We think after 5 years, it's appropriate to reduce that amount to a 5% cap, as Senator Nielsen's bill does. The main reason is if we are going to have this fee, and of course, we're very mindful that this is subject to litigation, if we are going to have this fee, we need to have a maximum amount going out for fire prevention activities, particularly at the local level, particularly in areas where residents pay this fee. So we're in strong support. We also believe the reporting requirements are worthy and should be continued. For that reasons, we would like to see this bill move forward.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Russell Nowak, on behalf of the California Fire Chiefs Association and the Fire Districts Association of California. Again, we support, there's a proliferation of SRA bills. This is one of the very best, which seeks to, again, make the accountability affordable and efficient and allow us and others to prevent fires, which is what our mandate is. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senator Nielsen, you and I and Senator Pavley serve on the Budget Subcommittee, which oversees CAL FIRE. I'm uncomfortable putting in statute any number. And that doesn't mean I don't agree with you about the necessity of holding that administrative fee as low as possible. But I would think that the best location to have this discussion is in our subcommittee, rather than in a statute. So I'm not comfortable voting for this. Why statute?
Well, to me, that gives more enduring weight, I would argue, than our subcommittee action or the budget action. The budget is year by year. The statute is, I would argue, a little tougher to change than that, and I'd like to see this endure. And the report, too, we get it in statute, then it stays around a little bit longer. We don't have to deal with it every year by year. That's the reason for the difference. I'm happy to work in the subcommittee and obviously on the budget, but the endurance and the longevity of the policy, that would be the reason.
Anyone else comments? Senator Allen?
I just associate myself with Senator Wilk on this. But I'm interested in seeing how that discussion goes at Budget Sub.
I would like to suggest, Senator Nielsen, depending upon, and it's certainly up to you, to extend the sunset requirement on the reporting and at least defer for now a longer discussion in Budget Sub 2. We could bring it back and re-add it if we so choose. That'll give us some leeway because, first of all, I apologize for missing all of the discussion, but I've read everything. I don't know what's magic about the numbers. Why isn't it 5 + 5 or 10 + 10? I mean, I'm not sure. And I appreciate the fact that we want to hold down administrative costs, but the role of why the Board of Equalization plus the fire departments need both administrative fees, and what is that magic number? Maybe there's something about this program that warrants more administrative costs. I know in bond measures it's essentially a 5% administration fee, but it's not multiple agencies. So I'm not sure if we have the number correct.
Madam Chair, we would amend the bill or leave the bill provision of extending the sunset date, but amend out for now anything about the cap.
And if we can come to a consensus and ability to understand why those numbers and why we need to put them in statute, Senator Wilk, we would have time to have a hearing.
And we also have the possibility of putting in a trailer bill, which has the
Sure.
force of law. So
Madam Chair, I
always
would
an
be
option.
delighted to work with you and Senator Walk. We work well together in the subcommittee, and I would accept that as an author's amendment.
Is that acceptable to everyone for allowing this discussion to move forward, but putting in, we will approve today the extension of the sunset, defer the other discussion, budget subcommittee, and we'll revisit that either through this committee or budget trailer bill process after that discussion. I don't know how that pencils out. So we just approve the one today to keep it cleaner for the record, or Senator Nielsen? Yes, let's do that. And Senator Nielsen knows that Senator Wilk and I will keep our word on having this discussion in budget sub 2, even if we have to stay later on a Thursday.
I'll work with you.
I'll try not to hold that against you when the time comes. Let me think about this.
I drive home,
Okay,
Things are arduous.
but we drive home.
I know. Some people miss their flights.
I understand.
Okay.
I'd be glad to move that item, Madam Chair.
All right. And it would be due pass as amended to appropriations.
Senators Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. Stone. Allen. Allen, aye. Hertzberg. Hueso. Jackson. Jackson, aye. Monning. Vidak. Wolk.
Aye.
Wolk, aye. That is 4.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members.
Thank you.
Appreciate your courtesies.
Yeah. That measure, Senator Nielsen had 4 votes. We'll put it on call for absent members. So where are we now? I see Senator McGuire, right?
Oh, yes.
Senator McGuire, file item 9, custom and practice, people not on the committee, correct? File item 9, Senator McGuire, come on down. Senate Bill 1287, commercial fishing, something about Dungeness crab, gill nets, leftover equipment. You have a different thing going on in your northern part of the state, we don't?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Well, good morning, Madam Chair. It is good to see you and good to see the remainder of the committee, and want to say how grateful I am for your work and for the staff's work on the evaluation of the bill. So every season, thousands of crab traps are lost off the California coast. These large traps are attached to dozens to hundreds of feet of rope, which is attached to a locator buoy. Currently, there is no regulatory program that, with adequate incentives to retrieve lost and abandoned Dungeness crab fishing gear that would otherwise remain in the ocean. Lost and abandoned fishing gear poses a navigational hazard to boats. It can entangle actively fished gear, other pots that are in the ocean, resulting in more lost gear and adding to marine debris. And these lost crab pots have proved to be extremely dangerous to the thousands of migratory whales that traverse up and down the California coast. A record number of whales have become entangled in lost crab traps and the lines that are attached to them off of our coast in recent years. In some quick statistics, the National Marine Fisheries Service states the number of whales entangled in fixed-year fishery gear along the West Coast has increased over the last few years, reaching an all-time high in 2015. Last year, 61 whales were reported entangled off of the West Coast of California, Oregon, and Washington. 57 of those whales were entangled in California waters alone. And humpbacks are the main species that have run into these long ropes that have become entangled. And this is the highest number, by the way, since NMFS started keeping records since 1982. And to put this into perspective, between 2000 and 2012, the average number of whale entanglements were about 10 per year. So in light of these alarming developments, we're working with the thousands of hardworking men and women of California's Dungeness crab fleet. And by the way, they're the ones that want to bring this forward. And we're also working with environmental organizations from across the state to bring forward a permanent lost fishing gear recovery program. This program is being advanced by the state's Dungeness Crab Task Force, and this task force was established by the legislature. And what they do every year is they evaluate the Dungeness crab fishery on a statewide level, and the membership advances management recommendations to the legislature. In their most recent report to all of us, the Dungeness Crab Task Force recommended the establishment of a statewide industry-funded, not taxpayer-funded, industry-funded lost fishing gear recovery program. The concept for Senate Bill 1287 comes from a successful pilot project that has been recovering fishing gear on a limited basis in a few select ports. The program has gathered approximately 1,500 pots over the last 2 seasons. The commercial and recreational Dungeness crab fishing community has greeted this pilot project, quite frankly, with widespread support, and the industry is the one that would like to be able to extend the program
And I see
statewide.
no opposition to this bill, Senator.
You're absolutely right, which means I'm gonna hustle.
That's what it means. Because the votes are, no.
Absolutely, and just my last item will say, what's that? I know, exactly. They heard crab season open, they're going to have a crab cake. So the crab is out. Absolutely, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you bring the crab?
I do, actually.
All right, hey, see, there we go. So the program is pretty dang simple. So the crabber who retrieves the lost gear is compensated on a per trap basis. And then the crabber that actually lost the gear, they can't get their permit for the next year until they buy the crab pot back. So it's really simple. And I'll just end it with this. Every major environmental organization is in support of this, along with the majority of all the associations.
We noticed that, plus the people in the
Absolutely.
industry, which is great work. So the pilot program seemed to work too. So who are your 2 witnesses?
Thank you so much. We, very quickly, Madam Chair, we have, of course, David from the Pacific Coast Federation of Fishermen's Association. Andy is here. He is an active crab fisherman. He has crab cakes in his pocket that he's going to be passing out here shortly.
No opposition.
Hey, there we go.
Save them for something.
Exactly. He participated in the Retrieval Pilot Project, and we're really grateful that Genevieve is here from Californians Against Waste.
Okay.
I'll be very brief. Andy Giuliano. Madam Chair and members, thank you for the opportunity to speak briefly on my support for Senator McGuire's SB 1287. The California Dungeness crab fishery is one of the most environmentally friendly commercial fisheries in the world. Fishing with small circular pots, commercial fishermen are able to collect only legal male crab, returning all other crab and sea creatures to the ocean. Given the scope and effort of the industry, it's a remarkably clean fishery. The one misgiving the fishery has, however, is an occasional crab pot gets lost. Foul weather can reposition them, marine traffic may drag a buoy inadvertently, and occasionally they just get lost or misplaced during the fishing season. SB 1287 provides the framework for enforcement, fishermen, and stakeholders to implement an industry-funded and sponsored program to seasonally retrieve and ultimately return back to the fishermen pots that become lost during the crab season. In the fall of 2015, we were one of 2 vessels participating in a pilot gear retrieval program out of the San Francisco area, sponsored by UC Davis. In the 3 boat days spent scouring the ocean, we were able to recover 183 lost pots. A large number for sure, but as an inaugural gear recovery program, a high number of pots accumulated over many seasons was expected. After bringing the pots ashore, owners were contacted, and the majority of the pots were returned back to the owners. It was a rewarding program to participate in. As commercial fishermen, we ask a lot of our oceans and their ecosystems. Rare is it for an industry to make the claim that it left the environment as clean as they found it. The success of the pilot program proved the industry is capable of leaving the ocean as clean and as safe as we found it. We hope you agree with our comments today and support Senator McGuire's SB 1287.
Right, thank you. Second witness?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I'm Genevieve Abaddon with Californians Against Waste. We are pleased to support this bill because it would help reduce ocean pollution while concurrently protecting marine wildlife. Pollution is one of the greatest threats facing our oceans today. A large percentage of the estimated 8 million tons of plastic waste that enters the oceans every year is abandoned, lost, or otherwise discarded fishing gear. The detrimental impacts of littered fishing gear include marine and beach debris with associated cleanup costs. There are a few that were already mentioned, I won't repeat, introduction of synthetic materials to the food web, and entanglements, which often lead to fatalities for wildlife. In fact, the Ocean Conservancy recently deemed fishing-related gear as posing the #1 greatest entanglement risk to marine fauna. The extent of the problem has increased significantly over the past 50 years, with increases in both fishing effort and durability of fishing gear. Therefore, without measures to address it, the amount of fishing gear remaining in the marine environment will continue to accumulate, as will its negative impacts. This bill promotes the retrieval of lost gear as an easy way to mitigate the increasing amount of ocean waste and wildlife entanglements. Reducing this dominant source of pollution in California's waters would be an important step in restoring and protecting our local environment. We hope you will support this legislation. Thank you for your consideration.
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee. Thank you for welcoming me to this hearing. I'll cut a lot of my comments short since they've already been addressed.
And you already had we allowed 2 witnesses per time, and then the additional people, a real brief statement.
Now, my name is David Hellewell. I have the fishing vessel Corregidor. I've fished out of Eureka since 1971 in the crab fishery and the boat since 75. And current law prevents fishermen from the fleet from engaging in wide-scale recovery of lost gear. SB 1287 puts the onus of recovery on the fishing fleet to ensure that this preventable source of marine debris is managed by permitting fishermen and port association to collect as much gear as possible. In the past, it was against the law for us to go out, and we did some anyway. But this sets it up so that it can be done in an organized fashion. And that's a matter of concern to us, which will be resolved, I expect, through the Fish and Wildlife and the DCTF, of which I'm also a member. Provides for continuing coordination between DFW and the fleet by requiring DFW to implement a gear retrieval program with ongoing input from the DCTF. The industry is keenly interested in resolving items left unstated in the bill through the regulatory Title 14 process, including the fees DFW will charge gear owners for recovered gear and the amount of control local associations will have over implementation in this program. And I think the way it will work out is that DFW is basically going to provide the authority so that the industry can do it. And we're quite excited about putting it together and making it work for everybody involved.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
And thank you for driving so far to get here. Maybe you took a plane, I don't know. Other people just name an affiliation position to support.
Good morning, Eddie Moreno on behalf of Sierra Club California in support.
Good morning, Madam Chair, committee members. Ashley Blako with Oceana, a member of the Whale Entanglement Working Group, in strong support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. Amy Trainer with the California Coastal Protection Network in support.
Good morning, Dr. Doug Karpa, Turtle Island Restoration Network, in support of the bill. Thank you.
Cassie Birdie-Shaw, Advocacy and Policy Director for Turtle Island Restoration Network, in support as well.
Josh Hanthorn, Defenders of Wildlife, in support.
Alicia Amerson, Office of Lieutenant Governor, in support.
Rex Bone, Supervisor, Humboldt County, in full support, and I also want to thank you for putting SB 1188 on the consent calendar today, too, so thank you very much.
Thank you for your attendance. Okay. Anyone in opposition to this measure? Questions by members? The bill has been moved by Senator Woke, and it would be a due pass to appropriations. Senator McGuire, a brief close.
Just want to say thank you. Thank you to the Lieutenant Governor for his support and to all of you as well. Would respectfully ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Perfect solution when they all work together, huh? Roll call.
Senators Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. Stone. Allen. Allen, aye. Hertzberg. Hueso. Jackson. Jackson, aye. Monning. Vidak. Welk. Welk, aye.
You have 4 votes. We'll leave it on call. You need 5 to get it out. All right. Thank you. Oh, there's Senator Block. Okay. Members were to file item 11, Senate Bill 1333 by Senator Block, relates to state beaches and parks and a smoking ban.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I think it's fair to say that California enjoys some of the most beautiful parkland in the world, and our coastline, part of which I'm proud to represent, is second to none. California has a long history of valuing and preserving our natural wonders and shorelines. We should all be proud of that. It's our obligation as legislators now to continue these efforts so future generations may enjoy all that California has to offer. SB 1333 helps to keep our state parks and beaches clean and keeps them safe as well by prohibiting smoking and the use of tobacco products at these environmental treasures. We're all well aware of the dangers of smoking and of the negative health impacts of secondhand smoke. In fact, studies show that secondhand smoke can be as dangerous to one's health as smoking itself. But perhaps as detrimental are the impacts and dangers that cigarette litter has on our environment and our wildlife. Cigarettes are non-biodegradable and contain more than 164 toxic chemicals, making them a substantial trash issue and a health problem at our beaches and parks. They've been found in our parks and beaches and are ingested by wildlife and fish. If any of you have done beach cleanups, and you probably have, there are cigarette butts all over most of our beaches, contaminating our oceans and our waterways. Cigarettes are also one of the leading causes of California wildfires. In 2015, there were roughly 68,000 wildfires that burned over 10 million acres. 90% of these fires were caused, it's estimated that 90% were caused by humans who have discarded smoldering cigarettes. We're long overdue in banning tobacco from our state parks and beaches. SB 1333 would make it an infraction for a person to smoke cigarettes or use other tobacco-related products within the boundaries of a state, beach, or park. SB 1333 would also make it an infraction to dispose used cigarettes or tobacco waste in these areas. Additionally, the bill requires the California Department of Parks and Recreation to create and post signs at state beaches and parks to notify visitors that smoking is prohibited. The prohibition would be enforced only after the signs have been posted. The bill is supported by an interesting array of groups. On the health side, the American Lung Association and the Association of California Healthcare Districts support the bill. On the environmental side, the Sierra Club supports the bill. Save the Bay supports the bill. And on just the general public safety side, the State Association of Firefighters supports the bill. There is no known opposition. With me here to testify is Lindsay Freitas, Senior Director for the American Lung Association, who specializes in tobacco control and lung health.
All right. Given the fact that we have a few members left in the committee and there's no opposition, I would like you to sort of keep your comments more brief if possible. I appreciate that. Yes.
Lindsay Freitas with the American Lung Association. I just want to add that more than half of the local communities in our state have adopted policies similar to that cover their local beaches, parks, and recreation areas, and it's time for the state to kind of follow suit and do the same. So I ask your support.
Thank you. Yeah. Staff?
Yeah.
Thank you. Other people in support, name and affiliation.
Eddie Moreno on behalf of Sierra Club California in support.
Michelle Gibbons with the County Health Executives Association. We represent local health departments throughout the state in support.
Alfredo Redondo on behalf of Audubon, California, in support.
Amy Trainer with the California Coastal Protection Network in support.
Tim Gibbs, American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network in support.
Callie Hampton on behalf of the American Heart and American Stroke Association in support.
Very good. Got a nice lineup, Senator Block. Opposition to the bill? Seeing and hearing none, I turn it over to members. Motion or questions? It's been moved by Senator Jackson. Brief close.
I would ask your aye vote.
Thank you very much, Senator Block. Roll call.
It's due pass to appropriations. Senators Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. Stone. Allen. Allen, aye. Hertzberg. Hueso. Jackson. Jackson, aye. Monning. Vidak. Wolk. Wolk, aye. That's 4. It's on call.
Has 4. It is on call. No, I don't see other. Thank you, Senator Block. Congratulations. We'll leave it open. We need 5 to get it out. I don't anticipate a problem. Senator Lara, you're up. Number 15. San Gabriel, LA River Mountain Conservancy Stormwater Capture Projects. Sounds like a good plan.
This one, right? Thank you, Madam Chair and members. California has endured recent years of sustained drought, our economy has suffered, workers have been displaced, and thousands of Californians have been left without clean water for drinking or bathing. It has forced us to make some long overdue reforms to improve our water efficiency and change the way we think about our water and the way we think about our water resources. The reality is that these challenges may soon become the norm, not the exception because of climate change and extreme weather. Now we are hoping that extreme weather will be the solution to our water woes, counting on El Nino to replenish our rivers, lakes, and snowpacks on our mountains. But the great majority of the water that will fall as rain in Southern California region will be lost and water resources washed away in storm drains. We can't continue to rely on the kindness of Mother Nature for our water security. It is clearly time for us to fundamentally change our thinking and behavior around urban development and green infrastructure. The solution is for us to look to opportunities like the Lower LA River to provide multiple benefit projects that promote stormwater capture and reuse while reducing local impacts of pollution from runoff and providing recreational opportunities in Parkport neighborhoods. This bill directs the River and Mountains Conservancy to identify projects that would maximize the capture of stormwater along the Lower LA River. While the Lower LA River serves as an important purpose as a flood protection and control channel, it also presents a unique opportunity for open space, urban greening, and as water resources for the region. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you very much. Any witnesses in support? People testifying in support of this measure? Other people adding on? Opposition to this bill? Seeing and hearing none, the bill has been moved. And just note that if there's, and I spoke to you about this, changes in this bill, we might be bringing it back to this committee. But I just wanted to share on a personal note, I think you and Assembly Member Rendon have done great service in really highlighting the needs of the Lower LA River. There's been a lot of champions in the north and out in the valley, and thank you for working with the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chairman. And yes, we'll be happy to bring this bill back.
Yes. Or it could be held in appropriations, right?
Right.
Okay. The motion is due pass to. Yes. Senator Wilk moved the bill due pass to appropriations.
Senators Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. Stone. Allen. Aye. Allen, aye. Hertzberg. Hueso. Jackson. Jackson, aye. Monning. Vidak. Wilk. Aye. Wilk, aye. That's 4.
You have 4 votes. We'll leave it on call. You need 5.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members.
All right. Who have we got next here? Anyone else? So we could go to Alan?
Or Jackson.
Well, Alan's first,
Yes.
right? Alan, you're first. And then it would be Jackson. It would be file order. Unless, Hannah-Beth, you want to talk him out of it. But that's, you need to deal with him because otherwise it's just file order.
Ladies first.
File item 6. Senator Allen graciously deferred and will be coming back shortly. File item 6, Senate Bill 1190,